Boom. We're live. What's up, everybody? Brown Water Banter podcast. This is episode 60, man. Episode 60. I'm Jared Seymour.
I'm Joey Cates.
And we got a really good episode for you. We have Stephen Parks. He is part of the Blue Wave Boat Company, a name that I'm sure a lot of people around here are familiar with. I know we see Blue Waves regularly out when we're out and about on the water. So we're going to talk to him today a little about the history of his company, the design of the boats, construction process, all kind of stuff, man. It's going to be a good episode, so stay tuned. Real quick, we want to mention our sponsor, proudly sponsored by Southern Magnolia Smiles. They're a local dental office located right here in Ocean Springs on Washington Avenue. Check them out, man. If you're looking for a good Southern local dentist here, you can call them at 228-215-1202. Big supporter of the show, and we really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's let Steven jump in here, man. Let's get to talking. Steven, man, how's it going today? How are you doing? Uh-oh, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Let me see here. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. I got you now.
Okay, perfect. A little delay there with the internet. So look, first of all, thanks for taking the time to jump on here with us today. Reached out to you through the internet, man. You responded back. We were super pumped to have you on the show today. A lot of people down here where we're from in Biloxi, Mississippi, have your product. So they had the Blue Wave boat. We see them a lot down here, and we wanted to just talk to you first off about how the company got started. I was reading a little bit of the bio y'all have on your website, and it sounds like it's a pretty cool story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First off, thanks for having us on here. When you reached out and I checked into your show, it's a very neat show. I enjoyed the that I jumped on and listened to. So great job what you guys are doing and the way you're really working closely with the outdoorsmen down there in that area. It's fantastic.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
You know, the boating industry is unique. It's widespread, nationwide, worldwide, but it's still just such a small industry. And there's so many stories about great families growing up into it, and we're just one of them. It's pretty interesting. My brother and I are actually third generation builders. Grandfather, uncles, they all started back in the 50s, 60s, building sailboats, houseboats, contract building for other people. Even at one time, some uncles built ski barge, which was in Arkansas, and at one point, I believe in the 60s, it was the largest boat company in the world by number of boats produced and employees and everything. So it's very unique and rich history. We actually got started building bay boats in the 70s, where my dad was contracted by the start building, and eventually worked until we started Blue Wave all on our own in 92. And it was exciting. My parents, it was definitely scary because they started in a 30 by 50 garage building the first boat with their life savings. And it was succeed or not, you know, it was make or break. And they put their heart, soul into it. And when they built the first boat and was taking it to the Houston Boat Show, they had, I think the story is about $1,500 left in the bank, taking the first boat down there to the boat show to just talk to customers and make the sale. And they did it. They sold one, got an order for a few more, came back, built them. And before long, we've been very blessed in this industry and building up towards it as just a family thing. From I was 11, Richard was 13, and we started at the ground floor. We were sweeping the floor. You know, I was always the younger brother, so I was handing the tools and doing all the grunt work, and he got to do all the cool stuff like rigging the boats until I got to an age where I could get in there as well. And then we fought for who got to do the funner rigging of stuff instead of just the cleanup. But we definitely grew from the grassroots, from the ground up, and we were able to retire mom and dad in 2017, took on a couple partners, kept it family oriented and a family company. We just grew the amount of families involved. And now we've started a pontoon company as well to kind of diversify our product. So now we build some of the best pontoons for recreation and fishing use and nationwide, and best saltwater fiberglass boats to use along the coast. So it's been exciting, and it's been a little crazy ride along the way too.
You got all your bases covered there. You got the pontoon for the partying and the other boats for the more serious outdoors fishing kind of stuff, right?
That's absolutely right. I think every customer should own two boats, and we can help them with both.
I agree.
That's not a bad philosophy to have, I must say. for sure.
Absolutely.
What you mentioned your dad, $1,500 in the bank, just decides, he'd been building boats and he's going to form his own company, builds one and brings it down to Houston. I mean, that's putting all your eggs in something that you believe, right? That had to take a lot on his end, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. He when he started in '92, my mom and him were partners up to that point as well, and they started with their life savings, which was a little bit more than that. But by the time that you do all the research, design from scratch, build the plugs, build the molds, and then you build your first boat, they were down to $1,500 left in the bank, which is just enough to drive from Oklahoma to Texas and stay overnight. And you know, they absolutely put everything on the line, and it's the American story.
Yeah.
It's absolutely been a success, and they were retired, and now they see Richard and I taking over the reins and moving forward with the company as we speak. And we've got a lot of new and interesting designs that are continuing to carry forward. We see a lot of the new stuff being designed and directed towards that SUV on the water. You'll see some of our newest stuff down there in the Biloxi area and Mississippi, Alabama coast, and Louisiana. They're into the larger style boats, the 26s and the 28s. And the thing that makes our boats pretty unique in that size range is keeping them light enough and strong enough and designed to where you can still fish moderately shallow, as well as with that size boat, with the design and the V and the flared holes, start to venture a little bit offshore as well. So it's trying to give today's customer that really time is more valuable than ever. The versatility that if it's a nice calm day, you can start going offshore. If it's a little bit rougher and you can find some protected areas, you can fish inland. So we're really trying to design with today's customer to give them the versatility and the use for whatever the weather's doing or wherever the fish is biting.
That's right. I got your is this your 28? I believe we got pulled up here off of your website.
Yes, sir.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to ask where you saw the boat industry going. It used to be the 24-foot bay boat was the biggest one out there, and then when you wanted to bump offshore, you had to step up to an offshore boat. Now with these hybrids, I mean, you could do everything out of one boat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The biggest question we always get for somebody that is more of an offshore fisherman or has come out of offshore boats is they look at the hull weight, or they look at the fuel requirement, and they start really having some concerns there that as a new product orientation on the market, we have to kind of educate them and show them that with the whole design that we have, you get the test bulletins from Yamaha, Suzuki, Mercury. Our engine partners will come and test the boat and really show the true range and the versatility of our design. And then we have a lot of team guys, as well as some TV personalities in the boat, that can attest to how it handles that rough water. Even though it's a lighter weight boat, the design of the boat makes it extremely comfortable, fast, dry. And then with the weight down and the efficiency up, the fuel range really puts it on par, if not above, a lot of the offshore style boats in its competitive region, even though they may have 50, 60, 80 gallons more fuel.
Yeah. Do you see the 28 decap, or do you see bay boats getting any bigger than that?
Do I see bay boats getting bigger than the 28?
Yeah, you see them getting, because I mean, it used to, like I said, the 24 to the 26, and now we got the 28. Do you see them growing any bigger than that?
I think bigger is better is still the mentality, and yes, I see in the near future some bigger stuff coming through.
This is America. Yeah, you excuse me, you hit the nail on the head there with the SUV on the water, right? I guess people want to buy a boat where they can kind of get the best of both worlds, right?
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, the bay boats have been that for the saltwater and the fishing side. Traditionally, we had a number of years back, we had a lot of bass boat guys that were moving into the bay boats because it had more seating for the family. You could take the whole family out for a day on the sandbar, as well as, you and your buddy could still go fishing inland back in the ponds and things like that. So we saw kind of a movement from very hardcore specific fishing style boats to more of a versatile family oriented, fish, sandbar, go to the docks, go to dinner, this sort of transition over. And to be honest with you, we saw it in the pontoon world as well. If you look at what, your grandpa's fishing boat pontoon with a 40 horsepower is kind of the mentality everybody thought. And you're as likely now to see our style of boat where we brought fiberglass fencing into the outside to give it a stylistic design. You put 3 logs on it, 350 horsepower motor, and a sound system that makes sure you listen to your music on the beach. It doesn't matter who else is there.
Right.
And before long, you're 60 miles an hour with 14 people in it. And that is not your traditional thought of pontoon. So you can take each segment of boating, and each manufacturer has had to start designing for a larger base group of people as well as more versatility, because we're all fighting. And like I said earlier, time is more valuable than anything. So when you got a customer and you've earned their business, you've got to give them access to a lot more things that they can do with that limited time they've got with their family.
Your pontoons are branded Blue Wave as well?
Steve, were you able to hear that question?
I'm sorry, no, I didn't.
Are your pontoons, are they labeled Blue Wave as well? They're Blue Wave pontoon boats?
No, so there's Silver Wave.
Silver Wave. Okay.
Yeah.
My question goes towards like a little bit. First of all, where are y'all based out of right now? The company.
So the factory is in Seminole, Oklahoma.
That's what I thought. That's what your website said. So can you walk me kind of through like the process of taking a boat? I know you mentioned like when your dad started, he's starting from scratch with the design. Obviously, y'all have that kind of taken care of now, even though you're constantly doing innovations, I'm sure. But it starts out as a wooden plug. Is that correct? And I guess even before that, it's computer generated design, right? That then you take to the plug, then pour the resin inside of that. Is that correct? Do I have that right with the process of making a boat?
Not really.
Okay, good. Perfect.
But I got you. You had a little bit of the terminology right. But so when you talk about building the old style wooden plugs, that is exactly what used to be the status quo. When you went to design a boat, you started with, say, a 2D drawing, and then you would start cutting wood forms and forming that into your plug, which should be a representation of the finished product. So once the plug is done, and in a lot of cases, you would actually make this plug to where it could be ran in a limited fashion. So you could put an engine on it, you could put a temporary console and driving station, and you didn't know until you flipped that plug over, until you were invested kind of down the road, and you went to go run it for the first time, how that boat performed. You had experience in design, and you thought, if you put this much dead rise in it, or this many chines, or this kind of an angle of a spray deflection on the outside, how it would operate, but you just don't know until you put it in the water and went and ran it. And then there was multiple iterations of that. You would change the design, go run it back and forth. Today's method is, in a lot of ways, there's some companies that still do that, but in a lot of ways, what we do is we do start with a 3D CAD design. There are partners out there that have very sophisticated computer models that allow you to basically run it through simulations of running the boat and in different stress loads and things like that really take a lot of the guesswork out up front. And so combine third generation design methodology with some of the new generation 3D CAD and testing, our designs will hit the water. A lot less tweaking is needed to kind of finalize them. But on the CAD designs, you design it in CAD, and then you have a company that will start with a foam block, and they will use a router to cut that, just super, super tight tolerances, things that you just couldn't do by hand. And then you would, once you have that perfect plug done, whether it be by hand or CNC cut, you would form the mold off of it. And when that's done, you pull the mold off, and it is an inside out replica of the final product. So each boat, you would spray the gel coat, the paint, you would lay the layers of fiberglass in it, and the surface of that mold has a semi-permanent wax on it. So just enough tackiness that it holds the boat to the shape during the build process. But once you're done, you can inject air in between the two surfaces, in between the boat and the mold, and it'll separate out. And now your boat has the form that the mold was holding. So you pop the boat out, and you continue to build the boat forward, and you send the mold back to be prepped and ready for the next boat.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. What's the time frame from start to finish on a boat build? I talked to
So
somebody that wanted to know that.
it depends on the complexity of the boat, but I would say generally around a 2 to 3 week time period. It really allows you to start the boat, go through various steps, and there's lots of different ways to build the boats. You have closed molding methods nowadays, which are heavily used in the aerospace industry and some of the technical skiff segments of the boats and things where weight is absolutely critical. That's where you have typically a male and a female mold and a predefined thickness of a cavity in between, and you load dry fiberglass in and you inject the resin under vacuum. You can also do this with a bag covering the mold as well. This will guarantee basically the flow of the resin, and the predetermined amount of resin can kind of guarantee a weight on the finished product that you just can't get from open molding, which is more by hand. So we incorporate all three methods depending on the piece of the boat and the build phase needed. So we will use the closed molding where we need high production, low weight parts. We'll do 100% hand laid hull, which is still kind of the most efficient between cost effective and still getting a lightweight product. It just is very labor intensive to do so. And they'll squeegee out excess resins and things like race boats used to be built out of the hulls. So when you look at our boats, even though we're getting bigger, we are designing manufacturing methods to kind of keep the weight down so that we can continue to allow some inshore fishing and shallow water drafts.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, man. Where do you see, the future of your industry going? Obviously, it's going to be continued innovation, but is it kind of like what you were mentioning earlier, just trying to give the customer the most bang for their buck when they can kind of do, like you said, the SUV of a boat?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we don't just sit up here in an office. We're traveling, seeing our customers. We fish with our team guys. We go to boat shows. And what I hear over and over at boat shows, to be honest with you, is customers are getting confused. They walk down the aisle and everything starts kind of looking the same. You got a lot of white gel coat. You got a lot of center console boats with big motors on the back. It may or may not have a T-top. So where you really got to differentiate yourself is by educating both our dealer partners and salespeople into what exactly makes us different. If a customer had the time to go to, his top 5 choices of manufacturing facilities and really see what they can't see from the showroom floor, that's where things really start standing out. And that's where we do a lot of work trying to take our build process, which is extremely labor intensive, and things that we do extra where the customer would never see, that really pays dividends at the showroom floor and during the use of the boat, but only if we educate you. Because our build process throughout, from the hull, like I just explained, on the 100% hand laid to keep weight down, but it's very labor intensive, to our stringer system, which has 4 stringers against the competition that typically has 2, to we put so much foam in the boat it's virtually unsinkable. We'll literally cut them in half and both pieces float. Now, if I didn't tell you all that and you're just looking at boats, you don't see it. So we are constantly working to explain to customers. And I use the analogy at the boat show is when you're house shopping, you look at these 2 houses, they look about the same until somebody tells you that has an 8-inch concrete foundation and this one has a 3-inch concrete foundation. That's when some value and longevity really starts sticking into your mind. And to be honest with you, you're not taking your family 20 miles offshore in the ocean in your house. So foundations mean a lot when you're doing that.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. One of the things that we could get out of this episode was exactly that piece that you just said, because that you're right. I mean, from a customer's perspective, we go to the one here in Biloxi, the boat show, and you do get lost. I mean, they all look amazing, but it's those fine details, especially on the manufacturing end, like you just mentioned, that separates boats from one another. So that's good to hear.
Absolutely. We when you really get into our boat and you look at the fishability, and really it's part of the pitch from the nose of the boat all the way to the transom, talking about why we did stuff. You can look at our non-skid. Our non-skid is custom made, and it's actually, I don't know if you can see the logo, but it's actually the wave in our logo is molded into our non-skid. And we're the only people in the industry that have that. And it was both set out as a project to be unique, but also because the diamond patterns and the oval patterns and things out there, I've slipped, I've fallen, and that's never fun. So we said, hey, can we not only be unique, but can we improve it as well? And that was a pretty big venture to do back in 2005, was create your own non-skid. And now, as far as I know, we're the only people in the industry, period, that have our own proprietary non-skid. And that's just one part of a really big picture. Our stringer system is second to none, 360-degree bond all the way around it, unsinkable in the foam. All the boxes are lined, all the hardware used as a lifetime warranty on it. And then the fishability, just the room, a lot of times, a lot of the competition, you'll see they started with really big boats and then they've moved into smaller bay boats. So you see common use of, say, consoles or driver stations and things, to where it may have worked in a 30-foot offshore boat. So it's available. It's a mold that's available. So they'll put it into a 24-foot bay boat. But that boat's narrower. It needs walk-around gunnels. And you start saying, okay, well, if someone's fishing on the side of the console, you can't get by them. You just can't fit. And I get a lot of customers that just can't understand that. But when you're doing a business and you're designing multiple models, yeah, you have a tendency to use molds that may be available, whereas we build specific boats. So we make sure that the component and the fit and the fishability for each model as we step up is the right fit. And it may take a little bit more time in production. It may take a few more molds, but at the end of the day, what you just described is customers are looking for more value, more bang for their buck, and I don't blame them a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. You mentioned being in good communication with your dealers and the education part that's involved with that to help, customers understand what they're buying. Joey and I, we were talking. Joey, do you know where any Blue Wave dealers are, the closest ones to us?
Farland's in Pascagoula, I think, carries Blue Wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So that way the people listening can hear. So if they want to go check them out, that'd be the best place to go. Give them a look over.
Yeah, I think we've got quite a few along the coast there, but I think the closest to you guys would be Furlan's.
Yeah, Furlan's is what we got.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a great group of guys that actually started with fiberglass repair. They were our authorized repair outlet, pretty much for the entire Panhandle of Florida over to Louisiana. And he had such a strong customer base because he saw what broke on everybody's boats, being a repair facility. So when him and his family first decided they may even want to think about selling some boats, they approached us first because they saw the way that we built the boats, that yes, every boat has something go wrong eventually because it's made by hand. But as far as the design, the consistent quality, and then the way that the company tries to work to take care of customers, he approached us first. And that was saying something, because he did a lot of work, not only for customers, but also warranty for companies. And for him to choose us to speak with first, I really respected it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Customer service and warranty on any product is paramount to keep customer retention. You know what I mean? People really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So
we've got about 160 employees and team members up here in Oklahoma that strive to get better every day at both building the product as well as customer service. And we'll be the first ones to tell you we're not perfect, but it never stops us from trying.
There you go. Well, Steven, man, we appreciate your time today. Joey, I don't know if you had anything else.
No, that's it, man.
Okay, yeah. One quick thing before we wrap it up: what's a good way for people to reach out to you? I know, obviously, you got your website. Y'all are on Instagram. That's how we communicated with y'all. I got the kicker here at @BlueWave_boats. If y'all want to look them up, or just type in Blue Wave Boats on Instagram, they'll come up. Do y'all have, I'm assuming, a Facebook page as well?
Yes, sir. We do Facebook and Instagram the heaviest, but the best thing is the website. If you go to bluewaveboats.com or silverwavepontoons.com, you check out the model that fits you. And we just launched last year a Build-A-Boat. So an interactive Build-A-Boat that you can see color mixtures, and it changes out certain driver stations and things like that as you build your boat up, and it gives you kind of a price range to make sure that you're not shopping for something totally outside or totally not what you're looking for. And then with that Build-A-Boat spec'd out, then you can send it to your local dealer, and kind of makes the whole experience a little bit easier and better.
That's pretty cool, man.
That's
That's pretty
awesome.
cool. Y'all seem to not shy away from innovation, so I dig that. I dig that a lot. If we ever get up to the Oklahoma area, we'll have to stop by and check out the facility, man. See what y'all are doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got an open door. Just let us know.
Okay,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Look, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You too.
Well, that was a good one, dude. That was a good one, man. Blue Wave Boats, people. Go check them out. Like I say,
Furlan's Marine.
Yeah, that's right. Furlan's Marine over in Pascagoula, you said, Joey?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go check them out. Once again, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.